Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Mama's Legacy Podcast. I'm joined here with Carter. What's up, Carter?
Hello, bro. Thank you for having me.
Love having you on, man. Appreciate you stopping by. And I'm joined here with Luke. What's going on, Luke?
I'm all good, man. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. And again, thanks for coming on, man. It means the world. And let's just jump right into it with the game of the year, in my opinion, last night, the Bucks versus Nets. First things first, we'll start off with Luke. What did you take away from that game?
Well, yeah, as you said, I thought that was definitely game of the year. For me, I think that's also one of the best games Giannis has ever played for me. He was fantastic, really put the team on his back. Drew Holiday had a tough shooting night, but came through clutch in the fourth and overtime. Chris Middleton played very well as well. And really, everyone on the Bucks, except for everyone on the Nets, sorry, except for KD, was just disappointing, I thought.
I definitely agree with that. The Nets played two bench players who had 20 minutes and didn't score. I thought that was kind of funny. But Carter, what did you take away from the Bucks game?
I was obviously rooting for the Nets, but apart from being gutted towards the loss, I think hats off to the Bucks. They pulled it out last night,
Mm.
and I'm really happy for Giannis as well.
Definitely. I think Giannis woke up. I mean, everybody thought it was going to be Middleton that needed to carry them because Giannis wasn't going to be able to dominate, and Giannis dominated. Now, Middleton came up clutch in the overtime, hitting that turnaround jumper. I thought that was a nice little move. But the Bucks defense, I really liked. I mean, they locked down everybody except Kevin Durant. Maybe that was their game plan. Let Kevin Durant score. Nobody else can. And I think they pulled it off to perfection. I think now it depends who comes out. I think it's going to be easier if the Bucks get the Hawks. I think they just match up better there. The Hawks have Clint Capella, and that's about it. That can really guard the rim,
Yeah, for sure.
and the Bucks will destroy that. But the 76ers may be a little bit more of a challenge. But if they're struggling with the Hawks, I don't really know. But coming up, before we talk about the 76ers or Nets, 76ers or Hawks, who do you think is the tougher matchup for the Bucks?
For me, it's definitely the Sixers. I mean, they're really confusing, the Sixers. Some games you watch them and everything's clicking. They look really good offensively and defensively. And other times it's look like they barely played together. But I think with Embiid, the star power he has, Seth Curry's playing really well. And although Simmons gets a lot of hate defensively, I don't think there's many better. So I would definitely say the Sixers would be the tougher matchup.
All right, I can agree with that. I mean, what do you think about that, Carter? Do you think the 76ers would also be a tougher matchup?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Although I'm a big fan of the Hawks, and I think they are a good team. So even if the Hawks do go through, I think they will give them a challenge. But genuinely, a better head coach, Embiid, Simmons, great defensively. They're a really good team. So I think Philly.
All right, I definitely agree with both of that, but we'll have to see who comes out of the game. And speaking of that game, Seth Curry has been the one guy for the 76ers team that's been able to keep them in games. But even then, the 76ers, they've had the opportunity to close out games. They've blown a couple leads here and there. And it's quite disappointing watching Joel, who we thought would be the MVP, and Ben Simmons, who's arguably a top five defensive player in the league, both getting leads blown left and right. Do you think Seth Curry has been the X factor for the 76ers so far in this series?
For sure. But I don't think he's enough. Tonight, I think Simmons needs to step up. I think purely having that 1-2 of Embiid and Curry isn't going to be enough to beat this high-scoring Hawks team. So although he's been the X factor, they need more.
I definitely agree with that. I think they need all around better play from everybody on this team. And if that happens, I think they will reach the team that we all thought they could be, a dominant team, first seed that can come and wipe through the Bucks, even maybe if they can get that chemistry going and everybody going. But right now, it looks like a two-man team, and it's really disappointing. Carter, who would you like to see step up the most come tonight?
First of all, I'd like to say I agree with Luke's point completely. I feel like apart from these playoffs, Philly really lack a number two, like a solid second option that they can turn to. I think they should have kept that in Jimmy Butler. But in terms of tonight, I mean, do I trust Seth Curry enough to take on? He has been the X factor recently, but I don't know. Honestly, I'm not that confident in Philadelphia.
All right. Well, I mean, What do you guys think the chances are that the Hawks pull this off, pull up the win, pull up the huge upset? Because personally, I had them losing to the Knicks in the first round. The fact that they made it this far is absolutely mind blowing. But who do you guys really have in this game, and how confident are you in that selection?
Man, I really don't know. I was with you. I had the Knicks in 7 in that first round, and the Trey Young really shocked me, and the whole team did. So I think it rests on a lot of factors. It rests on how Trey plays, how Embiid plays, and how Simmons plays. Really, for me, Simmons is the deciding factor. If he's aggressive, if he comes out looking to score, looking to facilitate, and plays the defense we know he does, and I can't see the Sixers losing. But if he's sort of very timid defensively and isn't attacking the rim, and that kind of really stalls their offense. So I think it really depends on his performance tonight. But I've got the Sixers going through.
All right. What do you think about that, Carter? Who do you have going through tonight?
So I'm gonna go for Atlanta, and my reason is I feel like, yeah, I know it's a bit of a, but I feel like game 1, game 2, game 3, every single game they've fought. There's not been one game I feel like they've given up. A young team led by Trey Young, and they're all riding with him. So I feel like they're gonna give it to Philly tonight. They're definitely gonna give it to them.
I actually agree with the Hawks tonight. I think Trey Young's. I bet against him once against the Knicks, and that didn't turn out too well for me. So I don't think it'd be wise for me to bet against him again, especially when he's been arguably the most consistent player in this series out of both teams. So I have him tearing up tonight. And the thing is, I think we're forgetting a little bit. They got Lou Williams, and if something slows down, they need some scoring. If the 76ers
That's
start
a bucket
playing
right there.
yeah, you throw Lou Williams, he'll get you 15 points in no time. So I think just the offensive firepower is going to overwhelm the 76ers team.
I mean, with Trey Young, I wasn't a big fan of him, but this playoffs, because the team I support, they're not in it, I've really been looking at players neutrally, and Trey Young, he's been so fun to watch, and I like his game a lot. So,
Yeah, his
Yeah,
game
for
seems to
sure,
have
for sure,
changed
man.
come playoff time.
Yeah, he's become just a brilliant all-round player. Like regular season, I'm gonna admit I didn't watch much of Trey, but the narrative was he's sort of this foul baiting, doesn't play properly, and then this first round against the Knicks, he's just unbelievable. Takes into that villain role so well, and even this second round, he hasn't carried, but without the play of Trey, he basically runs the offense, right? So without him, they wouldn't have got this far. I do feel bad betting against him, and I know it could come back to haunt me, but I just can't see the Sixers losing tonight, because although we mentioned Atlanta's offensive firepower, Philly are very good defensively, and without foul trouble, I'm gonna bet on Philly tonight. I'm gonna bet on Embiid.
I think Philadelphia does have a good shot. I think it's more of a toss-up game. I'm still betting on the Hawks, but if I had to put like percentage on it, I'd say it's like a 60-40 right now or a 55-45. But this 76ers team, they've been disappointing. So
For sure.
I can't say I'm going to put all my eggs in their basket. But another thing to talk about, like we brought up earlier, Chris Paul, the Suns versus Clippers matchup. We talked about this before we recorded, my bad. But Suns and Clippers, Chris Paul is going to miss game 1 for sure. I'm not sure about the rest of the games, but Kawhi is also missing game 1. And we know the past that Devin Booker and Paul George have. So how excited, first of all, are you guys for this playoff series?
Man, this is going to be a great series. I'm really excited. Obviously, without Kawhi and CP3, hopefully CP's back for game 2. It's not what it could have been, but it's going to be great. I hope it's feisty. I hope there's tension. There's like aggression. I think it's going to be a really good series.
I agree with that. I think Devin Booker and Paul George are definitely going to go at each other game 1. And I will admit, I wasn't the biggest Devin Booker fan. And then I went to Denver, saw the game 3 between the Nuggets and Suns, and oh my God, I haven't seen an offensive player dominate like he did. And you know what? I've become a semi-Booker fan since then. But this Suns team, watching them play, I think they can run through anybody. Carter, who do you think is going to win?
I mean, sorry. If there's wind, because I've stepped out the car, so sorry about the background noise. But to be honest, I'm definitely a Phoenix fan these playoffs, definitely. I love everything about their team, especially what they did before the season, They brought in some 3-and-D players, Jay Crowder, Aiton, I'm a big fan of Booker, Chris Paul, everything. They're a really fun team to watch. Even without Chris Paul and Kawhi Leonard, I think it's going to be a really fun series, you know? Because even the Clippers, they're a fun team again. So I think every game is going to be worth watching.
Mm.
But saying that, Phoenix in 5.
Whoa! Wow.
Quick series you got there. Luke, who do you have winning this series and how many games?
I've got Clippers in 7. I'm going to be honest with you. I really like this Clipper team. Obviously, I'm conflicted as a Raptors fan. They've taken like 2 of my favorite players we've had, but I've got Clippers in 7. Honestly, I think defensively they're great. We've seen other players like Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann step up, which we didn't expect, but they've been performing really well. And I just think this is their year, man. This, you know, the injuries in the West. This is their time to step up and make it to the finals.
As an honest Laker fan, we've got the Suns in 5 or 6. I cannot bear seeing the Clippers in the finals. That would be terrible for me, especially after LeBron gets beat in the first round. That's not good. That's not a good look right there. But in all seriousness, I don't think the Clippers can pull it off due to the fact that there's going to be no Kawhi. And let's be honest, we can't say Terrence Mann is going to drop 38 every game this playoff series. So I really think the Suns can overpower them with how many different weapons they have, how many different plays they run. I mean, even without Chris Paul, Devin Booker, I mean, we're forgetting he dropped 70 a little while back. I don't think he's anybody that can just be said, oh, Chris Paul's not playing. It's going to be kind of an easy series. I think the Suns are absolutely going to tear up. Their offensive firepower is something that I haven't seen from a team in a long time. And I just don't think the Clippers can keep up. I think they match up really well against them. And because there's no Kawhi, I still have the Suns. But if Kawhi was playing and if some miracle he does come back, even though I do believe that the reports have been it's an ACL injury, if he does manage to come back, I think the Clippers will win. And I think they have a very solid chance at winning the finals. But without Kawhi, I just can't see it happening.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it can go either way. But I don't think it's going to be a quick series at all. I think these Clippers are really deep and they've got a great spirit in that team as well. So I think it's going to be a long one, but I'm gonna go for the Clippers on this one.
Oh, that's interesting. But that's kind of all we have really to wrap up all this stuff with. But I guess we can jump into some little side things real quick. Excuse me. So, who do you think is going to be the biggest X factor of this Suns game? We'll just get a couple predictions out there before we wrap this up.
I'm going to go Terrence Mann. I think obviously we saw him have those huge last 2 games against the Jazz. So if he can carry that into this series, I mean, who knows what can happen? But I think he's going to be the X factor, certainly if he performs.
Carter, who do you think is going to be the X factor?
Definitely campaign, 100%. I think these playoffs, he's shocked everyone. You know, he's been. I wouldn't say he's been an option, but he hasn't. How do I say it? He's come off the bench every single time, and he's impacted. You know, he's scored, he's assisted, and I think with Chris Paul out as well, he's obviously going to get some extended minutes. And definitely remember me saying this. Okay, anyone watching? Remember me saying this. Campaign will be the X factor.
All
yeah,
right.
just a word on campaign. I remember he was part of like the Raptors preseason squad a couple years back, and he barely looked like an NBA player. He was terrible. And seeing him now, it's so good to see the improvement, man. Yeah, it's really good. So I'll back campaign.
I'm shocked myself.
It's crazy.
I didn't know he was so good.
Personally, my X factor, I think it's going to be Jay Crowder. I think Jay Crowder is going to be the X factor. Is he going to shoot 5% like he did against my Lakers, or is he going to shoot a good 40%? If he can shoot the 3 ball, I think that's going to kind of seal the deal right there. But if Jay Crowder's off, if he's not playing defense like we know he can, I think it's going to be the end of the series for the Suns because Jay Crowder, other than Ayton, I mean, he's really the defender down there, down low, that'll take on any challenge without second guessing it and go right at you. So if Jay Crowder's off, I'm not sure how that's really going to go for the Suns. So that's kind of my X factor there.
I mean, I feel like with Kawhi and CP3 out, both teams need everyone to step up. It can't just be Booker versus PG. Everyone needs to step up. Because if there's a game where PG doesn't step up or Booker doesn't step up, then it's down to the team to win, you know? So it's more of who wants it more type of thing.
Yeah, I definitely need to see more Luke Kennard for the Clippers. I think that's going to kind of be somebody they need to play a bit more coming into this series.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. They need to
And
rely
also
on their
there's
young players.
The defense on Paul George is going to be important. Crowder, Mikal Bridges, how those two deal with him could also be a very big factor. Because if they're locking him up early, then this is not going to be a long series at all. But I'm back in PG. I doubt that will happen.
I forgot about Mikal. Mikal is I wouldn't say he's underrated. I mean, he is underrated, but I think he can help them a lot as well, defensively and on the attack as well.
Definitely. I think Bridges is an amazing defender. And I think if you put him on Paul George, that's going to slow him down at least a little bit. Excuse me. But Paul George, we're either going to see if he comes out Indiana Paul George or Pandemic P. It's going to be one of the two. And whichever one that is going to kind of decide the Clippers season to end it. I mean, you gotta just hope that he turns back the clock and comes out like he was when he was going head to head against LeBron.
Yeah, he has to. He has to.
I feel like game one will really show who's gonna win it. I feel like whoever wins game one will win the whole thing, whether it's in 5 or 6.
Yeah, no, I definitely think game one's going to set the tone for the rest of the series. But now that we're in the final, basically 5 teams, if you want to count the Hawks and 76ers, who do you guys have winning the finals now that the Brooklyn Nets have been eliminated?
Damn. For me, I've got the Bucks. I think they'll get past whoever they get in the Eastern Conference. I don't think there's anyone there to guard Giannis. And same in the finals, really. I think this is really their year. They've been building a team for this type of run for a long time. Obviously, Kawhi stopped them in 2019 and Jimmy Butler last year. But I can't see anyone stopping the Bucks. So I would put my money on them.
That's a fair prediction. Carter, who do you have winning the finals?
I would love to say the Raptors, but I'm gonna have to go with Phoenix Suns. Definitely Phoenix Suns. I feel like they're the team who have the best like role players, you know, as well as their stars performing. I feel like Booker, everyone doubted him in the playoffs. They thought he wouldn't be a performer, but he's performed. Obviously, CP3, he speaks for himself. Mikal, Ayton, so many, you know, talented young players I can name. So I feel like Phoenix, if they can get past the Clippers, they've got the Bucks. Bucks are going to be food for them in the finals.
Ooh, you're going to call Giannis food like that? That's a harsh statement to make, right?
I just don't think there's anyone on any of the 3 now, or the 4 remaining teams, counting Philly and Atlanta, that can guard Giannis and can effectively stop him from driving and dishing. I just don't think there's anyone that can do that, particularly on the Suns. I think Crowder and Bridges are great, but they don't have the size. So that's why I would say the Bucks.
The only player in the left right now. Oh no, Ayton's not stopping Giannis.
He's got to be on Lopez too. He's got to be sat with Lopez on the perimeter.
Lopez will stop himself. I'm telling you. Ayton, he held the MVP Jokic so well. You know, it was a really good matchup.
Yeah, he defended him very well. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm telling you, the Suns are serious. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, Jokic and Giannis are very different players. Jokic is a very slow, immobile center. Giannis is a freak of nature who can get down the court in 3 steps.
Yeah.
I agree. And he gets a lot of calls as well. So that's going to be important because if Ayton fouls out, they don't really have a good big to come off the bench.
No, the big the Suns is scary. I know you guys love Aaron Baines, though, right?
Nah, I don't want to talk about that guy.
Hell no. I would be a better center than him. I'm standing
Bro,
about
put me there.
5'8".
Put me in the pick and roll with Kyle Lowry. I'm averaging more than Aaron Baines. I promise you.
Exactly. If Masai's hearing this, he needs to sign me. I'm a really good point guard.
Oh man. No, the only player left in the NBA right now that could kind of guard Giannis is Embiid. Embiid's the only one. Embiid, he can match up with him, and he can take that matchup.
I'm worried because he's injured, and I feel like he hasn't really been himself. I mean, he has been good this series with the Hawks, but against Giannis, someone so physical, you know?
Yeah, and Giannis will go at him every possession. He doesn't have the athleticism to keep up with him on the perimeter anyway. Once you get to the rim, I guess it's different. But that's been a good matchup before. But Giannis has typically come out on top between those two. You could say Simmons could guard Giannis. I don't know, but I don't think there's anyone outright who we could see now be like, yeah, he could stop Giannis.
Well, there's Kawhi, but he's not
He
playing.
he isn't playing, unfortunately.
I mean, we thought that with the Nets as well, but Blake held Giannis pretty well at the start of this series. But then again, no one can really stop Giannis. So
No.
I don't know. I feel like, Drew Holiday is just, I don't know. I love him. I think he's a really good guard, but he's not been showing up. Middleton.
He showed up against the Heat. He didn't show up too much this
Oh,
year.
yeah.
But
exactly.
I don't think we can
Middleton.
say this series is going to be the rest of him for this playoffs.
No, yeah, I agree with you. Middleton is very unreliable. I feel like when he goes off, he goes off. When he doesn't, he doesn't. Brook Lopez, let's not even talk about him. PJ Tucker's been good though. PJ Tucker, he's been a really good signing.
Yeah, I just think they have a really solid group. Middleton's really stepped it up this playoffs. We all doubted him, but against the Heat, he was great. And last night against the Nets and the whole series, he was good. Holiday, yeah, he struggled. But again, when it was time to make the big shots that we've seen other guards in Milwaukee haven't made, like Eric Bledsoe, Drew Holiday was making those last night, little mid-range jumpers. And PJ Tucker, we've seen he can lock up whoever. Well, not lock up, but he did a great job on KD. So that's why I just think the Bucks as an all-round group are the best place to win the title.
But I feel like, you know what it is as well? The Nets, rookie head coach, Kyrie out, all of these things had a factor as well. I strongly believe if the Nets had everything going their way, they would win the whole thing. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
for sure, man.
Another really quick fact that you got to point out is Brent Forbes outscored Jimmy Butler in the first round. So anybody on this Bucks team can come out and score.
No, but I mean, I thought Tyler Hero would be the next coming of Michael Jordan. So that's on them.
Well, I don't think the Heat would trade him for a prime Michael Jordan. So
no,
I like the Heat. I do like the Heat. I like Jimmy. I like Bam. I don't know what happened to them this playoffs. I don't know. I genuinely can't give you a reason for why they play so.
They look.
The Heat
terrible.
were so disappointing. They were so disappointing. Even in the regular season, they struggled with COVID, but they just never really got going, I thought, this year. Maybe it was due to the short break, I don't know, but they were just really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, even with the short break, the Lakers still did better than them, and they had no AD for some of it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for the Lakers praise. I love that. I haven't heard much of that in a while, considering we're in Cancun right now.
Yeah, well, if AD was fit, we could be talking about them in the Western Conference Finals, but that's just been this season, hasn't it?
We'll talk about Dame, LeBron, and AD next year. We'll talk about them next year when they're in the finals.
No, Raptors in the finals. OG Anunoby, MVP, I'm telling you.
Bro, watch us with a lottery pick, with our scout recruitment stuff. Wow, we're going to be dangerous next year. Let me tell you that.
You guys are the opposite of the Lakers with recruiting. We got Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle. As soon as they leave, they all become all-stars. What the hell is wrong with us?
Yeah, I mean, look at us though. Campaign is doing so well on the Phoenix Suns.
We missed that one. That's the one we missed. We missed Campaign. Damn.
I mean, you guys just take whoever and you make them look great. I mean, you had Bacall looking decent.
Yeah, listen, that's a testament to us.
I feel like Raptors, the Heat, Golden State, these teams best development.
No,
sure.
I wouldn't say the Warriors. They've slowed down now that they've had Curry and Clay.
Yeah, but in terms of like bringing in players through and making them the best they can be, like without that Warriors coaching development, I don't think half the players they've like Draymond, the way they've coached him, they've developed him.
Well, they have, but I mean, at the same time, when you add the Raptors to that list, you can't put anybody real close to them.
No, the Raptors.
Oh
are clear.
yeah, for real, exactly. Like look at Fred VanVleet undrafted,
Siakam,
crazy last year. Siakam,
you could go take somebody off the streets and make him an all-star. Let's be honest.
Exactly. They would make me into the MVP. I'm telling you.
You're driving a hard case for them to sign you right now,
bro. I'm telling you, they need to listen to this or something, because I'm good.
Get Masai on the pod, man. Let you make your case.
I would play for them for free. That's the thing. I don't want any money or anything. Let me show the league who I am. Give me one season.
Hey man, listen, if Larry leaves, Carter's got to start point guard for us next year. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. I'm better than Larry. I'm joking.
Oh man.
No, but in all seriousness, I got to wrap it up here. I want to thank both of you guys for coming on the pod. It means the world to me that you guys would show up.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you. We'll do this again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Hopefully I can have you two on another podcast as soon as the conference finals wrap up and we can go over our terribly wrong predictions.
For sure. Let's do it.
A part 2, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I really want you guys back on, but for now, peace out. You guys are amazing. Again, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take
See you
care.
soon.